Do you ever feel stuck? Yeah, me too. Why is that? In this video, we're going to talk about why and how to get unstuck. That's coming up next. Hi, this is Alan Combies. I'm a transformational coach and stress management consultant, and I believe in a less is more approach to personal development. In this video, we're going to talk about what happens when we feel stuck. I don't know about you, but I've definitely been there. And most of the time when I'm working with clients, it's some sort of version of, I just feel stuck. I feel frozen. I've been wrestling with a certain idea or concept, and I just can't seem to find a way out. And so this is something that's extremely common. So what is it? How does it happen? Why does it happen? Well, the way it looks to me is there's really two main reasons we feel stuck. And the first reason is we innocently make a decision about a particular idea. This could be anything, but an example that comes to mind, I was just having a conversation with someone who was looking to hire an assistant in their business, for their business. When I asked them how it was going, they said, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work these days. It's so hard to find an assistant. And I said, really? I said, where are you looking? And they said, And I said, are you mainly going off referrals? Yeah, referrals. I said, have you listed anywhere? Oh, well, we're going to list in Indeed. And so what I began to realize was they had formed an opinion and created a belief and made a decision that nobody wants to work right now. And that decision was limiting their resources. You see, they were focused on one idea and formed a belief that cut off all other resources. It was a mental shortcut that didn't allow them to access any other thoughts beyond the one they were currently focused on, right? And so that's one reason we feel stuck, where we've formed a limiting, constrictive idea about what's possible for our situation. The second thing we tend to do is when we decide that we have a problem, when we feel like we have a problem, when we're trying to solve a problem, we tend to focus all our conscious attention and awareness on the thought of the problem. Now, you may have heard that no problem was ever solved within the same consciousness that it was created. That's essentially what happens. We focus on the idea, the thought of the problem. And in fact, in so doing, we create a stronger and stronger structure for that problem. And it becomes more and more difficult to find a way outside of that problem. And the more we feed our conscious attention and awareness into that problem, the easier it is to go there, right? And so in the case of, let's say, my friend trying to find an assistant, maybe they're working and someone says, hey, have you found an assistant yet? And they go immediately into that problem state. Oh gosh, it's so hard to find an assistant. No, I can't do that. Now, you've probably had this experience where maybe a friend or family member came to you and they had a problem and they were griping about it and they were going on and on about it and they were distressed. But as you listened to them, you realized the solution was quite simple. And so you may have even presented that solution to them. Well, have you thought about X, Y, or Z? Maybe you've experienced this where you present the solution to them and they immediately dismiss it. Oh, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. This is different, right? And then go right back into the problem. Well, we are all the best hypnotherapists when it comes to our own trances and our own problems, right? What I mean by that is if we're focused on our problem and we create a more intricate and predominant thought pattern that becomes easier and easier to go into. In other words, we can just get triggered by a certain word or certain phrase and we go right back to that problem and we see and feel the nature of that problem, but we don't see anything beyond it. Someone can present a solution to us, but we don't hear it. We don't acknowledge it. We don't see it because the problem state is taken over our awareness, right? So that's the second thing. So number one is we make a decision that limits our scope. And number two, we continue to feed into our problem thought without thinking beyond it, and in essence, growing the neurological structure of that problem to where it becomes very, very easy to go into that problem. If you've ever talked to friends about your current pain, issue, problem, or symptom, maybe you're in a support group or you're in some sort of, or maybe it's just friends over coffee, but you end up talking about the same problems and you all agree with each other and you end up affirming and confirming each other's problems. Well, this is a great way to build that network, right, inside your mind. Now, that's just one example. And so what do we do? How do we get unstuck? Well, the first thing you can do is become aware. Become aware that there is a possibility that you may have made a decision that is limiting your ability to see this in a different way. And so you can simply ask yourself, well, wait a minute, is this true? So in the case of my friend looking for an assistant, nobody wants to work. Notice the absolutes. So when you say nobody, everyone, all of them, right? You're speaking in absolutes. Now, is it true that nobody wants to work? I highly doubt it, right? I'm sure there are a lot of people that want to work. And so you can begin to notice the absolutes in your language and take a step back and say, is this true? Is this true? Now, the other thing you can do is if you have built up a neurological network of a problem, right? And you've spent a lot of time putting your conscious awareness in it and thinking about it and growing it into a nice big trance. Well, one of the things you can do is just begin again to be aware of what's going on. And so, as an example, if this is you, if you are in fact having a problem and you can't seem to see a way out of it and it seems all-consuming, the first thing I would like you to do is just go ahead and focus on that problem. Notice any feelings that come up and just tap. Good. Now take a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Now, what I'd like you to do is just notice the feeling. And I'd like you to notice that that feeling, there's a picture in your mind when it comes to that feeling and that problem. It may be kind of chaotic. It may be very clear. Whatever it is for you, just go ahead and take that picture and go ahead and just throw it up on the screen. Throw it up on your mental screen. And as you see it up there on the mental screen, just go ahead and do a round of tapping. Good. Nice and easy. Take a deep breath. You can squeeze your wrist like this. Blow it out. Good. Now just take a look at that up there on the screen. Maybe it's moving, maybe it's a solid picture, maybe it's in color, black and white. Just notice what you notice. Good. And what I'd like you to do is just begin to move that picture around. You can move it up, you can move it down, sort of like, you know, Iron Man's computer, like a futuristic computer. It's up there on the screen in front of you, right? And you can toggle it, you can move it back and forth. Just notice how you can do that. Good. And now what I'd like you to do is just turn it, maybe clockwise, maybe counterclockwise, whichever feels best for you. And notice as you turn it and twist it, it begins to get smaller and smaller. And just keep twisting it until it's nice and small all the way down into a little speck on that screen. Good. And just tap. Good. Take a deep breath. Excellent. All right, so now what I'd like you to do is, so a moment ago you were feeling that feeling of that problem, right? So whatever it was for you, maybe it was frustration, guilt, anger, overwhelm. What I'd like you to do now is just ask yourself, how would I rather feel? When it comes to this problem, how would I rather feel? So typically it would kind of be the opposite of what you were feeling a moment ago in regards to your problem. So just go ahead and take a moment and ask yourself, how would I rather feel? Good. And now that you have that, I'd like you to just recall a time when you felt that feeling now. That's right. Just recall a time when you really felt that feeling now. Good. And just go ahead and step all the way into that feeling. And just go to the best part. Good. You can even make the colors brighter, the sounds. Notice any smells. Wonderful. Now I'd like you to just send that feeling now. Send that feeling to that little dot of a problem that you had before. And as you send that feeling like a fire hose from your heart, just send that feeling to that little dot. And as you do, just notice what happens as that dot begins to disintegrate in a way that makes sense to you. Good. Just tap between your eyes. Side of the eye. Under the eye. Collarbone. Squeeze your wrist. Take a deep breath. Blow it away. Peace. Good. And just ask yourself now, what do you notice? What's happening now? When you think about your problem, what do you notice? Now you can repeat this type of exercise again and again, right? Really what we're doing is just beginning to take note of where our consciousness and attention is being focused. Taking a step back from that, growing our awareness, opening ourselves up for more clarity, for more insight, and then realizing that we have control, don't you? That's right. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear or read your comments. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. I really enjoy making these videos for you. And if you'd like, you can watch these videos next. This is Alan Combies, transformational coach, stress management consultant. This is Morning Coffee with Alan. We'll see you in the next one.